Chapter 1. A Star is Born. Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana. Gary was a small industrial city in the United States. Most people worked in factories. Life was not easy. Michael's family lived in a tiny house on Jackson Street. There were 10 people in the house: Michael, his parents, and his 8 siblings. The house was always full of noise, laughter, and music. Michael's parents were Catherine and Joe Jackson. Catherine loved to sing. She often sang to the children, especially at bedtime. Her voice was soft and calming. She dreamed of a better life for her family. Joe, Michael's father, worked at a steel mill. His job was hard, and the hours were long. But Joe had a big dream. He wanted his children to become famous musicians. Michael's family didn't have much money. Sometimes they struggled to buy food or clothes, but they had something special: music. Catherine played the piano and loved gospel songs. Joe had a passion for rhythm and blues. Music filled their home, even on difficult days. It brought joy to their lives. When Michael was a small boy, people noticed something unique about him. He was energetic, curious, and full of life. But most of all, he loved to sing. His voice was powerful, even at a young age. It was clear that he had talent. Joe began to see potential in his children, especially Michael. He believed they could achieve more than a simple life in Gary. One evening, Joe gathered Michael and his brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon. He had an idea. "We're going to form a band," he told them. "Together, you can make something great." The boys were excited, but they were also nervous. They were still very young. Michael was only 5 years old. Could they really become musicians? Joe thought they could. He started teaching them how to play instruments. Tito learned the guitar. Jackie and Jermaine worked on their singing. Marlon and Michael practiced dancing. Joe was strict, and he pushed them hard. "Practice makes perfect," he would say. Sometimes the boys felt tired, but they kept going. They didn't want to disappoint their father. Soon, the boys were ready to perform. They called themselves the Jackson Brothers. Michael stood at the back, singing harmonies. But as time passed, something amazing happened. People couldn't stop looking at Michael. His voice was clear and soulful. His dance moves were sharp and exciting. He had a special charm that no one could ignore. Joe noticed this too. He decided that Michael should be the lead singer. Becoming the lead singer was not easy for Michael. He had to learn more songs and practice longer hours. Joe was tough on him. Sometimes Joe's discipline felt harsh. Michael wanted to play like other kids, but there wasn't much time for that. The band had to be perfect. Joe told the boys, "You're not just playing music. You're working toward a dream." The Jackson family started performing in small venues. They played in schools, clubs, and talent shows. Michael loved being on stage. He felt alive when he sang. The audience clapped and cheered. Their support gave him confidence. But there were challenges too. Sometimes they played in places where the crowds were not kind. They faced rejection and had to deal with harsh words. Still, they didn't give up. One night, the Jacksons entered a talent contest. The stage was large and the lights were bright. Many other groups were there, all hoping to win. Michael was nervous, but he didn't show it. He stepped onto the stage with his brothers. As the music began, Michael started to sing. His voice filled the room. The audience was amazed. By the time they finished, the crowd was on its feet. The Jacksons won first prize. It was a moment Michael would never forget. After that victory, the Jackson family became more determined. They wanted to go further. Joe began looking for bigger opportunities. He wanted the band to get noticed by important people in the music industry. This was not easy. They lived far from the big cities where famous singers worked. But Joe was determined. He started contacting record labels and managers. Finally, he got a call from someone at Motown Records. Motown was a famous music company in the 1960s. It helped many African-American artists like Stevie Wonder and Diana Ross become stars. The company invited the Jackson family to audition. This was their big chance. Joe packed up the family and took them to Detroit, Michigan. Michael was excited, but he also felt nervous. What if they don't like us? He thought. The audition took place in a small studio. The Jacksons performed their best songs. Michael sang with all his heart. He danced like never before. The people from Motown watched carefully. They whispered to each other and took notes. When the performance ended, there was silence. Then, one of the producers smiled and said, "You've got something special. We want to work with you." It was a moment of triumph for the Jackson family. They signed a contract with Motown, and their lives began to change. The Jackson brothers became the Jackson 5. Michael, now only 10 years old, was at the center of it all. His journey to fame had truly begun. Though Michael was happy to see his dream take shape, he also felt the weight of responsibility. His days were filled with rehearsals, recordings, and performances. Sometimes he missed being a normal kid, but he loved the music, and he loved making people smile. Michael Jackson was no longer just a boy from Gary, Indiana. He was a rising star, and this was only the beginning of his incredible story. Chapter 2. The Jackson 5. Take the stage. The Jackson 5 began performing wherever they could. Small clubs, schools, and local talent shows became their practice grounds. Their father, Joe, organized every detail. He wanted them to succeed. The boys practiced every day, even when they were tired. "You have to work hard to make your dreams come true," Joe would say. The Jackson 5's early shows were small but exciting. They brought energy, talent, and charm. Michael, though the youngest, became the star. His voice was pure and his dancing was sharp. People couldn't believe that such a young boy could perform so well. Michael's joy on stage was infectious. His brothers were talented too, but Michael had something extra. When he smiled, the audience felt it. Soon, the Jackson 5 became known around Gary, Indiana. People talked about them. "Have you seen those Jackson boys?" they would ask. Word spread, and more people came to watch their performances. Every show was better than the last. The Jackson 5 didn't just play music, they entertained. Michael's dance moves like spins and splits wowed the crowd. His brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon harmonized beautifully. Together, they created magic. Their first big break came at a talent competition. The room was packed. Other performers were older and more experienced. Michael and his brothers stood nervously backstage. Michael clenched his fists, trying to stay calm. He looked at his brothers. "We can do this," he said softly. When it was their turn, they stepped onto the stage. The lights were bright, and the crowd was silent. The music started, and Michael sang the first note. His voice soared. The crowd began clapping along. As the Jackson 5 danced and sang, the energy in the room grew. By the end of their performance, people were cheering and shouting. The boys won first place. It was a night they would never forget. Winning gave them confidence. Joe knew they needed to take the next step. He started looking for bigger opportunities. He sent tapes of the boys' performances to music companies. Many said no, but Joe didn't give up. One day, someone at Motown Records listened. Berry Gordy, the head of Motown, was impressed. "These boys have talent," he said. He invited the Jackson 5 to audition. Motown was the most famous record company for African American artists in the 1960s. Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, and Marvin Gaye were just some of its stars. The Jackson 5 felt nervous but excited. They knew this could change their lives. The audition was in Detroit, Michigan. The boys entered the studio carrying their instruments. Berry Gordy and other producers were watching. "Show us what you've got," someone said. The Jackson 5 started to perform. They sang, danced, and played with all their heart. Michael led the group with confidence. He hit every note perfectly. By the end, the producers were smiling. Berry Gordy stood up and clapped. "You're in," he said. The Jackson 5 signed a contract with Motown. Now the real work began. Motown had high standards. The Jackson 5 moved to Los Angeles to start recording. They practiced for hours every day. Motown producers taught them how to perform professionally. They worked on their singing, dancing, and stage presence. It wasn't easy, but the boys didn't complain. They were living their dream. In 1969, the Jackson 5 released their first single, "I Want You Back." The song became an instant hit. It climbed to the top of the charts. People couldn't get enough of it. Radio stations played it over and over. Soon after, the Jackson 5 released more hits, ABC and The Love You Save. Each song was fresh and fun. Fans loved their energy and style. Michael's voice stood out. It was strong and full of emotion. He sang about love, heartbreak, and joy, even though he was just a child. His singing made people feel something. When Michael danced, he brought the music to life. The Jackson 5's performances were electric. Crowds screamed when they appeared. Fans lined up to buy tickets to their shows. With fame came challenges. The Jackson 5 traveled constantly. They went from city to city, performing in front of thousands of people. Their schedule was exhausting. Michael missed being at home. He missed playing with his brothers in the backyard. But he also loved the stage. "When I'm on stage, I feel free," he said. The media became interested in the Jackson 5. Reporters asked questions about their lives. Cameras followed them everywhere. Michael, who was shy off stage, found this difficult. He didn't like being in the spotlight all the time. But he understood it was part of being famous. "Just focus on the music," his mother, Catherine, told him. As the Jackson 5's popularity grew, they appeared on television shows. One of their most famous performances was on The Ed Sullivan Show. This show was watched by millions of people. The Jackson 5 knew this was their chance to shine. They performed I Want You Back and ABC. Michael danced like never before. His brothers sang and played perfectly. The audience loved it. The next day, everyone was talking about the Jackson 5. By 1970, the Jackson 5 was a household name. They were no longer just boys from Gary, Indiana. They were stars. But being a star was not always easy. The boys had little time for themselves. They missed their friends and family. Michael, in particular, felt the pressure. He was the face of the group. People expected a lot from him. Sometimes it was overwhelming. Despite the challenges, the Jackson 5 kept going. They loved their fans and wanted to give them the best. Their songs brought joy to people around the world. Children and adults sang along to their music. The Jackson 5 showed that dreams could come true with talent and hard work. Michael's journey with the Jackson 5 was just beginning. He had already achieved so much, but he wanted more. Deep inside, he dreamed of something greater. He wanted to explore his own music and creativity. The stage was his world, and he was ready to conquer it. Chapter 3. Breaking Free. Michael Jackson loved being part of the Jackson 5. He enjoyed singing with his brothers and performing for their fans. But as he grew older, something inside him began to change. Michael wanted more. He had dreams that went beyond the group. He wanted to create his own music and share his own voice with the world. By the time Michael was a teenager, the Jackson 5's popularity had started to slow down. New bands and styles of music were taking over. Michael felt the pressure to keep up. He began thinking about what he could do differently. He wanted to find his own sound, a sound that would be fresh and exciting. At first, Michael wasn't sure if he could do it. Could he really leave the Jackson 5? Would his fans still support him? These questions stayed in his mind. But Michael was determined. He wanted to follow his heart. In 1979, Michael turned 21. This was an important age. He was no longer a boy, he was a young man. It was time to take a big step. With the support of his family, Michael decided to go solo. This was a bold move. Many people knew him as part of the Jackson 5. Going solo was a risk, but Michael was ready to try. Michael began working on his first major album as a solo artist. He wanted every detail to be perfect. He teamed up with Quincy Jones, a talented music producer. Together, They worked hard to create something special. Michael had many ideas. He wanted his music to make people feel happy, alive, and free. The album was called Off the Wall. It had a mix of different sounds: disco, pop, and funk. Michael wanted the songs to be fun and full of energy. He wrote some of the songs himself. Others were written by famous songwriters. Every track had a unique feel. When the album was finished, Michael felt proud, but he also felt nervous. Would people like it? Would it be a success? He didn't have to wait long to find out. When Off the Wall was released, it became an instant hit. Fans loved it. Critics praised it. The songs were fresh and exciting. One of the most popular songs on the album was Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. It had a catchy beat and a powerful message. Michael's voice was smooth and full of energy. When people heard the song, they couldn't help but dance. It became a global sensation. The music video showed Michael in a shiny suit, dancing under colorful lights. His moves were sharp and confident. Everyone wanted to dance like Michael. Another hit from the album was Rock With You. It was slower and more romantic. Michael's voice was soft and sweet. The song showed a different side of him. Fans loved seeing both his energetic and gentle sides. The album had other great songs too, like Off the Wall and She's Out of My Life. Each song told a different story. Off the Wall didn't just sell well, it broke records. It became the first album by a solo artist to have 4 songs in the top 10 of the music charts. This was a big deal. Michael was no longer just the lead singer of the Jackson 5. He was a star in his own right. But success didn't come without challenges. Going solo meant more pressure. Michael had to make many decisions about his career. He also faced criticism. Some people thought he wouldn't make it on his own. Others compared him to his brothers. Michael tried not to let this bother him. He focused on his music and his dreams. Michael also felt the weight of fame. He missed the simplicity of his childhood. He missed being able to walk down the street without being recognized. Fame brought excitement, but it also brought loneliness. Michael often felt misunderstood. Still, he knew that music was his purpose. He wanted to use it to bring joy to others. After the success of Off the Wall, Michael didn't slow down. He started thinking about his next album. He wanted it to be even better. He wanted to reach more people and make a bigger impact. Michael believed that music could change the world. He was ready to push himself further. The success of Off the Wall showed the world that Michael Jackson was more than just a member of the Jackson 5. He was an artist, a dancer, and a performer. He had a vision, and he was determined to make it real. His journey as a solo artist had begun. Michael's story was just starting. The world had seen a glimpse of his talent, but there was much more to come. Michael was not only breaking free from his past, he was creating a future that no one could have imagined. Chapter 4: Thriller, Changing the Game. In 1982, Michael Jackson released an album that would change music forever. It was called Thriller. No one could have predicted how big it would become. The album broke records, made history, and transformed Michael into the king of pop. But behind the success was a story of hard work, vision, and determination. Michael wanted Thriller to be special. He wanted it to be more than just an album. It had to be an experience. He worked closely with Quincy Jones, the same producer from Off the Wall. Together, they experimented with sounds, beats, and melodies. Michael spent hours in the studio. Every note had to be perfect. Every song had to tell a story. The album had 9 tracks, each unique. There was Beat It, a rock song with a powerful guitar solo. There was Billie Jean, a song with a mysterious story and a catchy rhythm. And of course, there was Thriller, the title track that would become legendary. Michael wanted the album to appeal to everyone, young and old, pop fans and rock lovers. When Thriller was released in November 1982, it became an instant hit. People couldn't get enough of it. The songs played on radios everywhere. Fans danced to the beats, sang along to the lyrics, and talked about Michael's incredible voice. But it wasn't just the music that made Thriller special. It was also Michael's creativity and his ability to surprise the world. One of the most exciting moments came with the music video for the song Thriller. At the time, music videos were simple. They showed the artist singing or dancing. But Michael wanted something different. He wanted to make a short film. He wanted the video to tell a story. The Thriller video was like nothing anyone had seen before. It began with Michael walking with a girl under the moonlight. Then the scene changed. Michael transformed into a werewolf. The music started and zombies came to life. Michael, dressed in a red jacket, danced with the zombies. The moves were sharp and unforgettable. The video ended with a twist, leaving viewers amazed. The Thriller video wasn't just a music video. It was an event. Fans watched it over and over. They copied Michael's dance moves and dressed like him. The video set a new standard for music videos. It showed the world that music could be a visual experience too. But Thriller had more surprises. Michael performed Billie Jean at a special event called Motown 25. Yesterday, today, forever. It was a celebration of Motown's history. Many famous artists were there, but Michael's performance stole the show. Dressed in a black jacket and a single white glove, he danced like never before. During the performance, Michael introduced a new move, the moonwalk. He seemed to glide backward, as if floating on air. The audience gasped. They had never seen anything like it. The moonwalk became Michael's signature move. It added to his magic and made him stand out even more. The success of Thriller wasn't just about music and dance. It also broke barriers. In the early 1980s, MTV mostly showed videos by white artists, but Michael's videos, especially Billie Jean and Thriller, changed that. His talent and popularity forced MTV to play his work. This opened the door for other black artists to appear on the channel. As Thriller continued to top the charts, Michael became a global superstar. He traveled around the world, performing for millions of fans. People lined up for hours to see him. They held signs, screamed his name, and sang his songs. Michael was no longer just a singer. He was an icon. Despite his fame, Michael remained focused. He wanted his music to bring people together. He often said, "Music has no color. It's for everyone." Thriller was proof of that. It connected people from different cultures, backgrounds, and countries. It showed the power of music to unite the world. But fame also came with challenges. Michael worked hard to keep up with the demands of being a star. He spent long hours rehearsing, recording, and performing. The media followed him everywhere. They wanted to know everything about his life. Sometimes Michael felt overwhelmed, but he kept going because he loved his fans and his music. Thriller became the best-selling album of all time. It won 8 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. By 1984, Michael was at the top of the music world. He had achieved more than anyone could have imagined. But he didn't stop there. He continued to dream big and push boundaries. For Michael, Thriller was more than just an album. It was a symbol of his creativity and hard work. It showed the world what he was capable of. It also inspired other artists to think bigger and be bolder. Michael didn't just make music, he made history. Even today, Thriller remains a masterpiece. Its songs, videos, and dance moves are still loved by fans around the world. The album is a reminder of Michael's talent and his passion for his craft. It changed the game and set a standard that few have matched. Michael Jackson's journey with Thriller was extraordinary. It was a moment of triumph, but it was also a beginning. Michael had shown the world what he could do, and everyone wondered, what would he do next? Chapter 5. A Glove and a Dream. Michael Jackson was not just a singer. He was a symbol. People loved his music, but they also admired his unique style. He wasn't afraid to be different. His outfits were bold, creative, and unforgettable. Each choice he made told a story, and fans around the world wanted to copy him. One of Michael's most famous style choices was his single glove. It was white and covered in tiny crystals that sparkled under the lights. When he wore it, all eyes were on him. The glove became a symbol of his creativity and mystery. Why only one glove? Michael never explained it fully. Fans could only guess, which made it even more magical. His outfits were just as iconic. Sparkly jackets, black fedoras, and military-style coats became his signature look. Each piece was carefully designed. Michael wanted his clothes to match his music and his personality. When he performed, his outfits shimmered and reflected the stage lights. It was as if he was glowing. Michael's style wasn't just about fashion. It was about expression. He wanted to show people that it was okay to be unique. He once said, "I don't think about being different. I think about being me." Fans admired his confidence. They wore similar jackets, hats, and gloves. Michael had become a trendsetter. But Michael wanted more than fame or admiration. He wanted to make a difference. Fame gave him a platform, and he wanted to use it for good. He believed in helping people and inspiring change. This idea became part of his music. In 1987, Michael released a song called Man in the Mirror. It was different from his other songs. There were no fast beats or fancy dance moves. Instead, it was a powerful ballad. The lyrics spoke directly to the listener. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. The song was about self-reflection. Michael wanted people to look at their own lives and think about how they could help others. He believed that change started with the individual. The message was simple, but profound. Fans felt inspired when they heard it. Some cried. Others felt hope. The song became an anthem for kindness and change. The music video for Man in the Mirror was just as powerful. It didn't focus on Michael. Instead, it showed real events from history, moments of struggle and triumph. It featured images of people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mother Teresa. Michael wanted to remind everyone of the heroes who had worked for peace and justice. The video touched hearts and made people think. Michael didn't just sing about change, he acted on it. He gave millions of dollars to charities around the world. He visited hospitals to spend time with sick children. He donated to programs that helped fight hunger and poverty. For Michael, helping others wasn't just a duty, it was a passion. One of Michael's proudest projects was We Are the World. In 1985, he worked with Lionel Richie and other famous artists to create this special song. It was written to raise money for people suffering from famine in Africa. The song brought together stars like Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and Diana Ross. Each artist sang a line, creating a chorus of unity. We Are the World was more than just a song. It was a global movement. People around the world joined hands to support the cause. The song raised millions of dollars for aid. Michael showed that music could do more than entertain. It could bring people together and save lives. But being a symbol of hope wasn't easy. Michael faced many challenges. The media often focused on his personal life instead of his work. They criticized his choices and spread rumors about him. Michael found this hurtful. He wanted people to see his heart, not just the headlines. Despite the negativity, Michael didn't stop dreaming. He continued to create music with powerful messages. Songs like Heal the World and Earth Song encouraged people to care for the planet and each other. These songs showed Michael's deep love for the earth and humanity. He believed that everyone could make a difference. Michael also wanted to connect with people in a deeper way. His performances were more than concerts. They were experiences. He used lights, sounds, and visuals to create a world for his audience. Fans felt like they were part of something magical. They laughed, cried, and danced together. For those few hours, they felt united. As Michael's fame grew, so did his influence. People called him the king of pop. But Michael didn't see himself as a king. He saw himself as a messenger. He wanted to use his music to spread love, hope, and understanding. The glove, the sparkly jackets, and the hats were part of his image, but they were also symbols of his message. They showed the world that it was okay to stand out, to be yourself, and to dream big. Michael believed that everyone had the power to shine. Through his style and his songs, Michael Jackson inspired millions. He reminded people that the world could change if they cared enough to make a difference. His dream was simple: a world filled with love and kindness. And through his music, he shared that dream with everyone. Before we begin Chapter 6, a quick note for our listeners. You're currently listening to this audiobook on Woo-English. Remember, this content is specially made for Woo-English listeners only. If you're hearing it on any other channel, it may be a violation of Woo-English's rights. Please ensure you're tuned into the right source to fully enjoy and respect this audiobook journey. Now, let's continue the story. Chapter 6, Behind the Curtain. Michael Jackson was one of the most famous people in the world. Fans loved him for his music, his dance moves, and his kind heart. But fame came with a price. While Michael brought joy to millions, his own life was often filled with loneliness and struggle. Michael was a shy person. On stage, he was full of energy and confidence. He danced like no one else and sang with passion. But off stage, he was quiet. He didn't like large crowds or noisy parties. He preferred spending time alone or with close friends and family. Fame made this difficult. Everywhere he went, people recognized him. They wanted autographs, photos, or just a chance to see him up close. The media followed Michael everywhere. Photographers waited outside his home. Journalists wrote stories about his life. Some of these stories were true, but many were not. Rumors spread about his appearance, his health, and his relationships. Michael found this hurtful. He wanted people to focus on his music, not the gossip. One of the biggest rumors was about Michael's changing appearance. Over the years, his skin had become lighter, and his face looked different. People speculated about plastic surgery and other secrets. But Michael had a condition called vitiligo. This disease caused his skin to lose its color in patches. He also suffered from lupus, another health issue that affected his skin. Michael tried to explain this, but some people didn't believe him. The rumors continued. Michael felt trapped. He couldn't go to the store or walk in the park without being surrounded by fans or reporters. Even at home, he didn't feel free. His home, Neverland, was meant to be a place of peace and fun. It had rides, animals, and a beautiful garden. But even there, the media intruded. Helicopters flew overhead to take pictures. Michael began to feel like he had no privacy. Despite these challenges, Michael focused on his work. Music was his escape. It was the one place where he felt truly free. He poured his emotions into his songs. Tracks like Leave Me Alone and Stranger in Moscow expressed his feelings of isolation and frustration. Through his music, he told his story in a way that words alone could not. Michael's performances also gave him strength. When he stepped on stage, the loneliness disappeared. The cheers of the crowd lifted him. His fans made him feel loved and understood. He wanted to give them his best. "My fans are my family," he often said. But even with the love of his fans, Michael still felt the weight of fame. He struggled to trust people. Many wanted to be close to him, not because they cared, but because of his money and fame. This made Michael careful about who he let into his life. He longed for genuine connections, but they were hard to find. The pressure to stay on top also weighed on him. Michael was always expected to be perfect. Every album, every performance had to be better than the last. He worked long hours in the studio, often skipping meals or sleep. His perfectionism drove him to create masterpieces, but it also took a toll on his health. In the 1990s, Michael faced even more challenges. Accusations were made against him that shocked the world. He denied them completely and said they were lies. The accusations led to a long and painful legal battle. Michael felt devastated. He believed people were trying to destroy his reputation. Through it all, he stayed focused on his music. He believed that his truth would come through in his work. During this difficult time, Michael found comfort in helping others. He visited hospitals, supported charities, and continued to use his platform for good. Giving back made him feel connected to the world. It reminded him of why he started making music in the first place, to bring happiness to others. Michael also turned to his art. He began writing more personal songs. Tracks like You Are Not Alone and Earth Song revealed his emotions and his hopes for the world. These songs showed a softer, more vulnerable side of him. Fans appreciated this honesty. They felt closer to him through his music. Despite the struggles, Michael never gave up. He believed in his mission to make the world a better place. He once said, "In my heart, I'm just a person who loves to create and share." This love for creation kept him going, even when the world felt heavy. In private, Michael found small moments of joy. He loved to read, paint, and watch cartoons. He enjoyed spending time with his pets and his children. These quiet moments helped him recharge. They reminded him of the simple pleasures in life. Michael's story behind the curtain is one of resilience. He faced incredible pressure, loneliness, and unfair criticism. But he never let these challenges stop him. He kept creating, kept performing, and kept inspiring. His strength came from his love for music and his desire to make people happy. For Michael, fame was both a gift and a burden. It gave him the chance to share his talent with the world, but it also took away his privacy and peace. Yet through it all, Michael remained true to himself. He continued to shine, even in the darkest times. The king of pop was more than a performer. He was a man with dreams, struggles, and a deep love for his craft. Behind the curtain, Michael Jackson's story was one of courage, determination, and an unbreakable spirit. Chapter 7. Neverland, a place of escape. Michael Jackson dreamed of a place where he could feel free, a place where he could escape from the pressures of fame. In 1988, he found that place. It was a large ranch in California, surrounded by hills and trees. Michael named it Neverland, after the magical land in the story of Peter Pan. To him, Neverland was more than a home. It was a symbol of innocence, wonder, and imagination. Michael filled Neverland with everything he loved. There were rides like a Ferris wheel, a carousel, and roller coasters. There was a petting zoo with exotic animals, lions, elephants, and even giraffes. Michael loved animals and enjoyed taking care of them. He also built a movie theater and an arcade. Music played everywhere, creating a joyful atmosphere. Neverland was designed to be magical. It wasn't just for Michael, it was for others too. He invited children and families to visit. Many of these children were sick or struggling. At Neverland, they could laugh, play, and forget their worries for a while. Michael believed in the power of kindness. He wanted to share his happiness with others. For Michael, Neverland was a place where he could feel like a child again. His own childhood had been difficult. As a young boy, he worked long hours in the music business. He didn't have time to play or make friends. At Neverland, he could enjoy the fun and freedom he had missed. He often said, "I feel happiest when I see children smile." Visitors to Neverland were amazed by its beauty. The gardens were filled with colorful flowers. Statues of Peter Pan and other characters stood around the property. At night, the lights from the rides lit up the sky. Guests could hear the laughter of children and the sounds of animals. It truly felt like a magical world. Michael spent much of his time at Neverland. He would ride the carousel, watch movies, or feed the animals. He often invited friends and family to join him. He enjoyed hosting parties and celebrations. To Michael, Neverland was not just a place. It was a feeling. It was where he felt safe and free. But the public didn't always understand Michael's world. Some people admired Neverland and saw it as a beautiful escape. Others criticized it. They thought it was strange for an adult to create such a place. Rumors spread, and the media often portrayed Neverland in a negative light. This hurt Michael deeply. He had built Neverland with love and care, but many people misunderstood his intentions. Despite the criticism, Michael remained proud of Neverland. He knew that it brought joy to many people. For him, it was a sanctuary. It was a place where he could be himself, away from the cameras and the pressure of the outside world. Neverland was also a reflection of Michael's creativity. He designed every detail to make it special. He chose the rides, the decorations, and even the names of the animals. Each part of Neverland told a story. It was a living piece of art, just like his music. As the years passed, Neverland became more than just a home. It became a symbol of Michael's life. It represented his desire to hold on to innocence and happiness. But it also showed the struggles he faced. The public's misunderstanding of Neverland mirrored the way they often misunderstood him. In difficult times, Michael found comfort in Neverland. When he felt overwhelmed by the media or the pressures of his career, he would retreat to his magical home. Here, he could breathe, dream, and find peace. Neverland reminded him of the joy he wanted to bring to the world. However, the magic of Neverland could not protect Michael from the challenges of fame. The rumors and controversies surrounding him often overshadowed the joy he created. This made Michael feel isolated. He began to spend less time at Neverland. The place that had once been his escape became a reminder of the world's judgment. By the early 2000s, Michael decided to leave Neverland. It was a difficult choice. He had put so much of his heart into the place, but he felt it was time to move on. He wanted to focus on his music and his children. Still, Neverland remained a symbol of his unique spirit. Today, Neverland is remembered as a part of Michael's legacy. It was a place where he shared his kindness and creativity. It showed his love for children, animals, and the magic of life. For Michael, Neverland was not just a physical place. It was a dream, a vision of what the world could be. Neverland reminds us of Michael's desire to bring joy and hope to others. It teaches us to hold on to our imagination, even in the face of challenges. Though Michael has left this world, the spirit of Neverland lives on, just like his music. Chapter 8. Facing the Storm. Michael Jackson was loved by millions, but fame brought challenges. As his career soared, so did the scrutiny. The media followed his every move. Rumors about his life spread quickly, whether they were true or not. For Michael, this was one of the hardest parts of being famous. He wanted to be known for his music, not the stories people told about him. In the 1990s, things became more difficult. Michael was accused of something terrible, hurting a child. He denied it strongly and said he would never do such a thing. Michael loved children. He saw them as pure, kind, and full of hope. To him, the accusations were unthinkable. But the media covered the story everywhere. Headlines painted a picture of guilt, even before the facts were clear. The accusations deeply hurt Michael. He felt betrayed and misunderstood. He had built Neverland to bring joy to children, but now it was being seen differently. Michael's private world became a public target. The stress affected him physically and emotionally. He became more reclusive, avoiding the spotlight when he wasn't performing or working on music. The legal battle was long and painful. Michael faced lawyers, reporters, and cameras. He had to defend his name in court. Every detail of his life was examined and questioned. This was exhausting for him. He felt alone, even with his family and fans by his side. Still, he held on to hope. He believed that the truth would come out. Through it all, Michael's fans stayed loyal. They gathered outside the courthouse to show their support. They held signs, sang his songs, and shouted messages of love. Their faith in him gave Michael strength. He often said, "My fans mean everything to me." Their unwavering support reminded him that he was not alone. Despite the stress, Michael continued to create. Music was his escape. It was the one place where he could express his feelings without fear. During this time, he wrote songs that reflected his pain and his desire for peace. One of these songs was "Stranger in Moscow." It told the story of loneliness and feeling like an outsider. Fans could hear Michael's sadness in every note. When the trial ended, Michael was cleared of the accusations. He was relieved, but the damage was done. The media had already shaped public opinion. Some people still doubted him, even though he was found innocent. This was a heavy burden for Michael to carry. He wanted to move forward, but the weight of the past stayed with him. Michael decided to focus on what he loved, his music and his children. He poured his energy into his work. He released songs like "You Are Not Alone," a ballad about love and support. Fans connected with the song's message, and it became a hit. Michael's ability to turn pain into art inspired many. In the early 2000s, Michael faced more accusations. Again, he denied them and fought to clear his name. This time, the trial was even more public. Cameras followed him everywhere. News channels aired updates constantly. The world watched as Michael went through another difficult period. The trial took a toll on Michael's health. He became thinner and looked tired. Friends worried about him, but Michael remained determined. He said, "The truth will set me free." He trusted that his innocence would be proven again. When the second trial ended, Michael was acquitted of all charges. He thanked his family, friends, and fans for their support. He also thanked his legal team for believing in him. While the victory brought some relief, it did not erase the pain. The years of stress had changed him. After the trial, Michael became more private. He spent time with his children, who were his greatest source of joy. Being a father gave him purpose. He loved teaching his kids, playing with them, and watching them grow. They were his light during dark times. Michael's later years were quieter, but he never stopped dreaming. He wanted to create more music, more magic. He planned a comeback tour called "This Is It." It was meant to show the world that he still had the talent and passion that made him the king of pop. The challenges Michael faced were immense. The accusations, the trials, and the media scrutiny tested him in every way. But he never stopped believing in himself. He kept going, even when it felt impossible. Michael's resilience inspired those around him. He showed that even in the face of storms, you can keep moving forward. Michael's story during these years was one of strength and survival. He faced incredible challenges, but never let them define him. Through it all, he held on to his love for music, his children, and his fans. His courage and determination remain a powerful part of his legacy. Chapter 9. History and Healing. In 1995, Michael Jackson released an album that was unlike anything he had done before. It was called History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1. This album was personal. It told the story of his struggles, his triumphs, and his dreams for the future. Through his music, Michael shared his truth with the world. The album was divided into 2 parts. The first part featured Michael's greatest hits. Songs like Billie Jean, Thriller, and Beat It reminded fans of his incredible career. These songs celebrated his journey and showed why he was the king of pop. But the second part of the album was new. It included songs Michael had written during some of the most difficult times in his life. These songs were filled with emotion. They spoke of pain, resilience, and hope. One of the most famous songs on the album was You Are Not Alone. It was a ballad about love and support. Michael's voice was soft and heartfelt. The lyrics reached out to anyone who felt lonely or misunderstood. Fans around the world connected with the song. It became a #1 hit and showed that Michael's music could still touch hearts. Another powerful song was Scream, a duet with his sister Janet. It was loud, energetic, and full of emotion. In the song, Michael expressed his frustration with the media and the constant rumors about his life. The music video was futuristic and creative, showing Michael and Janet rebelling against a world that didn't understand them. Fans loved seeing the 2 siblings perform together. The song was a reminder of Michael's strength and his refusal to give up. History also included Earth Song, a track that spoke about the planet and humanity's role in protecting it. Michael sang about the destruction of nature and the need to care for the earth. The song was dramatic and moving. The music video showed images of war, pollution, and hope for a better future. Michael's passion for the environment was clear. He wanted people to think about their actions and how they affected the world. The album was a commercial success, but it also meant more to Michael on a personal level. Through history, he could express his feelings about everything he had been through. He shared his pain, but also his belief in healing and moving forward. For Michael, music was therapy. It helped him process his emotions and connect with others. The release of History was more than just an album launch. It was an event. Michael performed in cities around the world to promote the album. His shows were bigger and more exciting than ever. Fans filled stadiums to watch him sing and dance. Michael gave every performance his all. He wanted his fans to feel the power of his music. But History wasn't just about Michael's past. It was also about his future. He used the album to share his vision for a better world. Songs like Childhood reflected on the innocence he had lost, while tracks like They Don't Care About Us called for justice and change. Michael wanted his music to inspire people to think, act, and dream. During this time, Michael also focused on healing. He spent time with his children, who brought him joy and purpose. Being a father was one of the most important roles in his life. He loved teaching his kids, playing with them, and watching them grow. They gave him strength and reminded him of what truly mattered. Michael also continued his charity work. He visited hospitals, supported children's programs, and donated to causes he cared about. Helping others brought him peace. It was his way of giving back to the world that had given him so much. The making of history wasn't easy. Michael spent long hours in the studio, perfecting every detail. He worked with talented producers and musicians, but he was also deeply involved in every part of the process. He wanted the album to reflect his heart and soul. Critics had mixed opinions about the album. Some praised it for its boldness and honesty. Others were less kind. Michael listened to the feedback, but he didn't let it stop him. He believed in his music and its message. He knew that not everyone would understand, but that was okay. For Michael, what mattered was reaching the people who needed to hear his songs. The release of History marked a turning point in Michael's career. It was a statement of resilience and creativity. It showed that despite everything he had been through, he was still standing. He was still creating, still inspiring, and still dreaming. For fans, History was more than an album. It was a gift. It gave them a deeper understanding of Michael's life and his emotions. It reminded them that even icons like Michael Jackson faced struggles, but it also showed that challenges could be overcome with hope and determination. As Michael moved forward, he carried the lessons of history with him. He continued to make music, care for his children, and dream of a better world. The album was a reminder of his strength and his belief in the power of healing. Through his songs, Michael shared not only his pain, but also his hope for the future. Chapter 10. The Final Curtain. In 2009, Michael Jackson made an announcement that shook the music world. He revealed plans for a new tour, called This Is It. It would be his final series of performances. Fans from around the globe were thrilled. Tickets sold out in minutes. Everyone wanted to see the King of Pop one more time. The tour was set to begin in London. It was planned as a grand farewell to his fans. Michael wanted This Is It to be his best show ever. He imagined stunning visuals, breathtaking dances, and his greatest hits performed live. It wasn't just a concert. It was a spectacle. Michael wanted to give his audience something unforgettable. Rehearsals for This Is It began soon after the announcement. Michael worked with a team of dancers, musicians, and creative directors. Every detail had to be perfect. From the lighting to the choreography, Michael was involved in everything. He pushed himself and his team to achieve greatness. During rehearsals, Michael's energy and talent were clear. He still moved with the grace and precision that had made him famous. His voice, though softer, was filled with emotion. Watching him perform was magical. Even in practice, Michael had the ability to captivate everyone in the room. But behind the scenes, Michael was struggling. Preparing for the tour was exhausting. He was rehearsing for long hours every day. He wanted everything to be flawless. Michael was a perfectionist, and he wouldn't settle for anything less. But this drive for perfection was taking a toll on his health. Michael had always been a private person. Few people knew how much pressure he was under. He felt the weight of the expectations placed on him. Fans wanted to see the Michael Jackson they remembered. The dancer, the singer, the icon. Michael wanted to deliver, but he was tired. The years of fame, criticism, and challenges had left him drained. Despite this, Michael remained focused. He often told his team, "The fans deserve the best." He knew that many people had grown up listening to his music. They had supported him through good times and bad. He wanted to thank them with a show that would be remembered forever. As rehearsals continued, moments of magic and joy emerged. Michael worked closely with his dancers, showing them how to perfect their moves. He laughed and joked with his crew, creating a sense of family. For Michael, performing wasn't just a job, it was his passion. He came alive when he was on stage. But as the days went by, concerns grew. Some people close to Michael noticed that he seemed fragile. He was losing weight and appeared tired. They worried about how he would handle the physical demands of the tour. Michael reassured them, saying he was fine. He didn't want to let anyone down. On June 23, 2009, Michael attended one of his final rehearsals. He performed "They Don't Care About Us" with his dancers. His movements were sharp and powerful. He smiled and joked between songs. The crew felt hopeful. They believed the show would be a success. 2 days later, the world received heartbreaking news. Michael Jackson had passed away. The news spread quickly, and fans were in shock. People gathered outside his home, lighting candles and playing his music. The man who had given so much joy to the world was gone. The cause of Michael's death was later revealed to be cardiac arrest. He had been under immense stress and was taking medication to help him cope. The combination of exhaustion and medical issues had been too much for his body. His sudden passing left the world mourning. In the days that followed, tributes poured in from all over the globe. Fans, fellow artists, and leaders shared their love and respect for Michael. Memorials were held in cities worldwide. His music played everywhere, reminding people of his extraordinary talent and legacy. The planned "This Is It" tour never happened, but parts of it were shared with the world. A documentary, also called "This Is It," was released later that year. It showed behind-the-scenes footage of Michael preparing for the tour. Fans saw his passion, creativity, and dedication. Even in rehearsals, Michael's brilliance shone through. For many, the documentary was bittersweet. It was a glimpse of what could have been. It showed Michael as an artist who gave everything to his craft. Watching him work reminded fans of the magic he brought to the world. Michael Jackson's final chapter was one of both triumph and tragedy. He left behind a legacy that will never be forgotten. His music continues to inspire people of all ages. His story is one of resilience, creativity, and love for his craft. Though Michael's life ended too soon, his spirit lives on. His songs, his dances, and his messages of hope remain with us. He gave the world his best, and for that, he will always be remembered. Chapter 11. Goodbye to a Legend. On June 25, 2009, the world stopped. News spread quickly. Michael Jackson had passed away. It didn't seem real. Fans everywhere were in shock. How could the king of pop be gone? People turned on their TVs, radios, and phones, searching for answers. The suddenness of his death left everyone speechless. Michael's passing was heartbreaking. He was only 50 years old. Just weeks earlier, he had been preparing for his This Is It tour. Fans had been excited to see him perform again. Now, that dream was gone. The music world had lost one of its brightest stars. As the news sank in, the world mourned. Fans gathered in cities around the globe. They held candles, sang his songs, and shared their memories. Flowers, photos, and letters were placed outside his home and at famous landmarks. People of all ages and backgrounds came together to honor him. It was a reminder of how deeply Michael had touched lives. Tributes poured in from everywhere. Fellow artists shared their sadness and respect. Leaders and celebrities spoke about his influence. Even those who had never met Michael felt the loss. His music had brought joy, hope, and inspiration to millions. His unique style and talent had changed the music industry forever. Radio stations played his greatest hits non-stop. Songs like Thriller, Billie Jean, and Heal the World echoed across the globe. Fans remembered the joy of dancing to his beats and the comfort of his heartfelt ballads. His music felt alive, even as the man behind it was gone. Television channels showed clips of Michael's iconic performances: the moonwalk, the glittering glove, the unforgettable music videos. Each moment reminded people of his genius. He wasn't just a performer. He was an innovator. Michael had pushed boundaries and redefined what was possible in music and entertainment. Behind the scenes, Michael's family and close friends grieved deeply. His children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, had lost their father. For them, Michael wasn't a global superstar. He was a loving dad who cared for them deeply. The world mourned a legend, but his family mourned a man they loved. On July 7, 2009, a public memorial was held for Michael at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Fans, friends, and family gathered to say goodbye. It was a solemn but beautiful event. Famous singers performed his songs, and speakers shared stories about his life. Paris, Michael's daughter, spoke through tears. "Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine," she said. Her words touched hearts around the world. Michael's death raised questions. People wanted to know what had happened. An investigation revealed that he had died of cardiac arrest caused by a powerful medication. The circumstances led to controversy. His doctor faced legal charges for his role in the events. The details were complicated and painful for his family and fans. Amid the sadness, people focused on celebrating Michael's life and legacy. His music was his gift to the world, and it would live forever. Fans shared how his songs had helped them through tough times. Artists spoke about how he had inspired them. Michael's impact was clear. He wasn't just a musician, he was a global icon. Michael's influence reached far beyond music. His humanitarian efforts had made a difference in countless lives. He had supported charities, visited hospitals, and raised awareness for important causes. Songs like Man in the Mirror and Earth Song carried messages of hope and change. Michael had always wanted to make the world a better place. Even after his death, his work continued to inspire. New generations discovered his music, his dance moves, and his vision. His albums remained bestsellers. His videos continued to amaze viewers. Fans taught their children about his legacy, ensuring that his story would not be forgotten. The release of the This Is It documentary later that year gave fans a chance to see Michael one last time. The film showed behind-the-scenes footage of his rehearsals. It captured his passion, his dedication, and his joy for performing. Watching it was bittersweet. It was a reminder of his talent and a glimpse of what might have been. Over time, people began to reflect on Michael's life in its entirety. He was more than a performer. He was a man who had faced incredible challenges. Fame had brought him joy, but also pain. He had been misunderstood and judged, yet he had always stayed true to his art. Michael's story was one of resilience. Despite the trials he faced, he kept creating. He gave his heart to his music and his fans. His journey wasn't perfect, but it was extraordinary. He showed the world that dreams could come true with hard work and imagination. Today, Michael Jackson's legacy continues. His music is still played at parties, weddings, and celebrations. His performances are studied by dancers and musicians. His influence can be seen in the work of countless artists. The King of Pop left a mark that will never fade. Michael may be gone, but his spirit lives on. It lives in his music, his art, and the memories he created. Fans around the world remember him not just as a performer, but as a man who dared to dream big. His story inspires us to follow our own dreams and to believe in the power of music to change the world. As we say goodbye to Michael, we also celebrate his life. He gave us music, magic, and hope. And though his final curtain has fallen, his light will continue to shine. Chapter 12. The King Forever. Michael Jackson's influence has no boundaries. Even after his passing, his music, dance, and style continue to inspire people around the world. From young dancers learning the moonwalk to artists drawing inspiration from his creativity. Michael's legacy is everywhere. Michael wasn't just a performer, he was a visionary. He redefined what music could be. His songs broke records, and his performances set new standards. Even today, his albums like Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous are loved by millions. Each song tells a story, and each beat invites listeners to feel, dance, and dream. Michael's unique style changed the way people thought about fashion. His single white glove became a symbol of individuality. His sparkly jackets and military-inspired outfits were bold and unforgettable. Artists still look up to his courage to stand out. Fans continue to celebrate his style, wearing outfits inspired by him at concerts and events. But Michael's influence goes beyond music and fashion. He changed how artists used music videos to tell stories. Videos like Thriller and Black or White weren't just videos. They were short films. They brought songs to life, creating worlds that people could lose themselves in. Today, musicians around the globe credit Michael for inspiring them to think bigger. Michael's dance moves are equally iconic. The moonwalk, which made its debut during a live performance of Billie Jean, remains one of the most famous dance moves in history. His spins, sharp footwork, and stage presence have been studied and copied by dancers for decades. Many say that when they dance, they feel a connection to Michael's energy and passion. Beyond his art, Michael had a dream of making the world a better place. He believed in using his platform to spread love and hope. Songs like Heal the World and Earth Song carried powerful messages about caring for others and protecting the planet. These songs still resonate today, reminding people to think about their impact on the world. Michael's humanitarian work was just as remarkable as his music. He supported over 30 charities, donated millions of dollars, and often visited hospitals to bring joy to sick children. His song, We Are the World, co-written with Lionel Richie, raised millions for famine relief in Africa. Michael showed that music could do more than entertain. It could unite people for a cause. In the years since Michael's passing, new generations have discovered his work. Children who weren't even born during his lifetime now dance to his music. Schools teach students about his impact on pop culture. His influence has become timeless, crossing generations and borders. Michael's fans play a huge role in keeping his legacy alive. They organize events, tribute concerts, and celebrations of his life. Around the world, statues, murals, and memorials honor him. Fans gather on his birthday and the anniversary of his passing to share stories, sing his songs, and keep his spirit alive. For artists, Michael remains a source of inspiration. Many musicians and performers credit him for shaping their careers. From Beyoncé to Justin Timberlake, countless stars have spoken about how Michael influenced their work. They admire his creativity, work ethic, and ability to connect with people through his art. Michael's dream of uniting the world through music lives on. His songs are played at weddings, celebrations, and even protests. They bring people together, reminding them of shared emotions and hopes. Whether it's the powerful lyrics of Man in the Mirror or the infectious rhythm of Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Michael's music continues to touch hearts. But Michael's legacy isn't just about his achievements, it's about his humanity. He faced challenges, struggles, and criticism, but he never stopped creating. His resilience is a reminder that even in the face of difficulty, it's possible to keep moving forward. Michael's story inspires people to chase their dreams, no matter the obstacles. his influence can also be seen in the way people talk about making a difference. Michael believed that even small actions could create change. Through his music and his actions, he encouraged others to care for their communities and the planet. His life was a testament to the power of kindness and compassion. For many, Michael is more than just the king of pop. He's a symbol of creativity, hope, and determination. His ability to blend different styles of music, push boundaries, and bring people together was unmatched. He wasn't afraid to be different, and he encouraged others to embrace their uniqueness. Michael's work continues to inspire innovation. Musicians experiment with new sounds because of the paths he paved. Dancers take risks because he showed them what was possible. Filmmakers think bigger because of the worlds he created in his videos. His legacy fuels creativity in every corner of the arts. Even as time passes, Michael's message remains relevant. He sang about love, justice, and healing. These themes are universal and timeless. His music reminds us to look inward, make changes, and strive for a better world. For those who loved him, Michael's absence is deeply felt. But his presence can still be found in his songs, his performances, and the memories he left behind. When fans listen to his music or watch his videos, they feel connected to him. It's as if his spirit continues to dance through every note and every step. Michael Jackson's legacy is a reminder that greatness isn't just about talent. It's about heart. It's about using your gifts to bring joy and light to others. Michael's dream was to create a world filled with love. And through his art, he succeeded. The King of Pop may no longer be with us, but his influence will never fade. He lives on in the music that makes us move, the words that make us think, and the dreams that make us believe anything is possible. Michael Jackson isn't just a memory. He's a part of the world's heartbeat, a legend who will inspire forever.